Holy cannoli, it has been a hot minute since I've been here. Hello, everyone, which is currently looks like two whole people. Nanya, how you doing? It's good to see you. I've actually been seeing some of Anne's videos. I hope Puppy's doing all right. I saw updates I believe yesterday she put out with Shuggy. Man, poor puppy. She got it bad. I hope she recovers. Looks like she's trying to hang in there. Everyone else, if anyone listens to this in replay, because I'll leave it up. Hey, surprise, surprise, surprise. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. It's been damn near about a year. Holy cow, what brings me back from the dead? Well, I haven't really ever gone away necessarily. I just quit streaming and putting out any kind of content because life. And I think I told everyone that at the time. Hey, Chris Bulldog, how are you? Just life. Life happens, and life was happening, and it continues to happen. But I've been feeling the urge recently. I thought, I should hop on and just see how everyone's doing out there. I'm around and about on ye old YouTube every so often, and usually lurking in other creators' lives, hanging out, listening, occasionally popping up with something to say. Like I was over on listening to they're calling themselves the Four Horsemen now. It's Vision Preparedness and Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival and Roaming Prepper. The four of them get together. I know I said three names, but Hudson Valley is two people. If you ever watch their channel, very good content, as well as the other gentleman. But I caught them earlier and was listening to them and had them up on the TV actually on the screen, streaming it. And I was silent until I saw Vision's dog, that little puppy head pop up. Little puppy, it's a big dog, pop up in the background there next to the desk, and I couldn't contain myself. I said, "Puppy!" Because puppy dogs. I mean, how can you not comment on that? So what brings me back? Well, I don't know. I mean, what doesn't? What the heck is going on in the world that we can't talk about? Holy shit, y'all. Pardon my French. Well, let's see. A whole heck of a lot's happened since I last did a live, which was, let's see, I did one July 4th last year. And before that, I had taken a couple of months break and pretty much kind of rode off into the sunset about April of last year. So what's happened? Everything. Obviously, we had here in the US an election, and we all know who got elected. And let's see here. So we got through the elections, and now we're in the first few months, 4 months of presidency under President Trump. And wow, stuff's happening. And people are upset and feeling some kinds of ways and having all the feels about what's going on in the US and in the world. Some people are having some real particular feelings about it. And the most recent thing that we're going through right now is everyone's talking about tariffs, the big T word, not the Trump word, although that T word's linked with it too. Tariffs. Oh my God, the tariffs. What's going to happen with the tariffs? What are we going to do about the tariffs? Hey, Suburban Hillbilly, welcome. So that's what everyone's wondering, what the heck's going to happen right now. And I've been seeing so many videos right now about stock up on this, that, and the other. Here's my top 10, my top 5, my top 15 items you need to buy before tariffs go into effect. Well, I got news for y'all. Tariffs started going into effect last month. Quite a number of them were postponed, but yeah, so tariffs actually started the first of this month. Probably not telling y'all anything new that you don't already know. But yeah, they went into effect. So what we're waiting for here in the US now, obviously, is for shipping and all that good stuff to catch up and see what we're going to see at the shelves and see if there's anything to see at the shelves, meaning, are we going to have scarcity of product? Major retailers are, of course, saying, and they actually had been saying before, just recently, it's getting a lot more press now, but they were saying it previously, hey, there's probably going to be a lot less selection or variety at the shelf. So just to let everyone know. And last month, I don't think a whole lot of people really paid any attention to it. But of course, as the tariffs neared, the 1st of May got closer. And now that we're well past the 1st, well, here we are on the 6th, people are starting to go, oh my God, and have a little bit of a panicky anxiety feeling going on. And I thought maybe the world could use just a little bit of a voice of reason to say, don't panic, because don't panic. I'm not saying that stuff's not going to happen. I'm just saying panicking doesn't do you any good. Don't make snap decisions about things. Don't feel like you have to run out and buy up the entire store because this is the end and the end is nigh. No, we're going to be fine. Life is going to continue. Um, y- Frankly, the fact of the matter is we don't really know what's going to happen. And that in itself can be disconcerting. That can be anxiety inducing. We're not really sure exactly what will happen other than there's definitely a strong possibility that we're going to see less variety in stores. So you may have less options. And the options that you do have there are going to cost more, you know? So that seems to be what the general consensus is for everyone. We all seem to agree that, yeah, prices are about to go up because we get a whole shit ton of stuff from China, and the tariff on China is what is 145%? Holy cannoli. So away we go. My husband, Mister, said that he was looking at a website for someone who does he's kind of somewhat in contact with, has just kind of made online friends with or acquaintances with online through some various websites. And this gentleman does reenactment clothing, sells reenactment clothing, makes it, sells it, and it's like a World War II reenactment, World War One, that type of thing. And my husband said that the gentleman had told him that he's got a reproduction wool coat, like a German officer's coat. It's pure wool. Normally sells it for, I think he said, like $100. It's probably some odd amount, but let's just round it and say normally sells it for about $100. My husband, uh, I think, either saw a post from him today, wherever they do their chit chat net, or had contact with a gentleman, and the guy says, yeah, now with tariffs are 145% because he gets it from China. So that $100 coat is now $245. And that's just with the tariff added on there. And obviously he's not going to be able to sell it. He's saying, I don't think I can sell this. Who's now going to have the money to buy a $245 coat for reenactments? So I have a feeling we're probably about to see. I have to wonder how much change are we about to see in, well, in our class system, quite frankly. Between middle class, upper class. Of course, is the upper class going to be affected by anything really? Lower middle class, or do we say lower class anymore? Is that not PC? I don't know what we're saying these days. Nobody's clued me in on that, but I think everyone understands what I mean here. Hey, Klingon princess, greetings. Good to see you. We're about to start seeing a whole lot of changes in society, obviously. Um, I think it's going to be interesting. Um, I, I don't know that that's necessarily in a good way. it's, I think there's going to be a whole lot of stuff happening here. I will be curious to see how much, if, or probably more likely, not necessarily an if, but how much crime increases. Shoplifting, petty theft, breaking and entering into homes, things like that. you know, Purse snatchings. I'll be interested to see if crime increases substantially. Things like fraud, food stamps. I wonder, food stamps, how much that's going to be affected. So, yeah, buckle up, y'all. We about to get into it. Um, do I think the tariffs are a bad thing? Oh, that feels like such a loaded question. And for those who may be listening later, no one has asked me that here in the chat. It's just a discussion I've had with folks outside of the tube, some friends. Like, do you think tariffs are bad? I'm like, I mean, obviously, nobody wants inflation. Nobody wants to have to pay more for things. However, you know, um, do I think it's a bad thing to bring business back into the US, to create jobs here in the US for people, to create our own goods, our own products? I don't think so at all. I think it's going to be painful, you know. How painful is yet to be seen. We don't know. The media is doing a fine job of, whipping people up. I don't think people, at least I haven't in my tiny little bubble where I live, I haven't noticed a whole lot of people getting really worked up about things. And I think people are concerned, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of panic, which is great. Um, we are going out to run some errands tomorrow. I'm still at my same job, and Wednesdays are still my off day. So we'll be running some errands tomorrow and got to go to the store and pick up a couple of things. So I'll be curious to see if people are out in force and panicking or panic buying or anything like that. I did go out this past weekend, and I didn't really notice anything different. I mean, it was first of the month. So stores are always busy first of the month. People receive benefits, their retirement checks. Some companies pay first of the month. A lot of government agencies or government entities pay first of the month. Um, and government's not necessarily federal, but a lot of state agencies. I know when I had a state job many years ago, we were paid once a month and on the first of the month. So, first and the 15th, I always expect is going to be busy anywhere, just, because I don't put a whole lot of stock into it. Hey, Aunt Jack, how are you? So I'll be curious to see what's going on since we're past the first of the month now, and since media is kind of putting out, hey, initially I saw it was big retailers saying, hey, you've got about 7 weeks max before you're really going to start seeing it at the shelves. Then I noticed that pretty well got backed up a little bit. They said, no, no, it's more like, 4 to 6 weeks, seven tops. Yeah, but really 4 to 6 weeks. Now I'm seeing people saying, oh no, by the end of this month, panic, you know, and today I saw a couple of places saying, no, it's really by the 15th of this month, which is like what, next week? I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. I mean, talk about whipping up. I mean, maybe there might be something that's being affected that soon, but it does still take time. I mean, there's still ships that have not even sailed for the US from China and other countries. So, I mean, we'll see. Um, I think probably the most realistic thing I've seen is if you are familiar with the YouTube channel, What's Up in, I think it's What's Up with Shipping or What's Going On in Shipping. It's a really good channel. The guy really knows his stuff. He knows about shipping industry. He's worked in it. It's very, very good. He's saying based on what he's seeing and shows all the facts and where to find the information, everything on different websites and ships and what he's hearing in the maritime industry or in shipping industry. Looks like by July we should be pretty well into it and be able to have a pretty good clue of how things are going to kind of be looking. Um, so, buy the things that you need to buy. And I thought it was rather, it kind of struck me. I thought, wow, it seems like I remember probably at some point last year or in years past, at some point being on here on this channel and maybe posing the question and saying, hey, if we went through 2020/2021 shipping baloney all over again, if you knew something was going to happen and you knew it was coming and it was going to be like the shipping garbage of, shipping issues from 2020 and 21, how would you prepare? And there are a few other channels I've seen posing that, saying use that as your blueprint. What did you run short of, or what did you not have that you realized during that time that you're going to yes, thank you, Jack. What's going on with shipping? Thank you. Yeah. Really good channel. Really good channel. Suburban, you missed the doll. The dolls have been gone for a while. I quit using the dolls, um, back when I was still pretty somewhat regularly streaming. So I I think I said at the time why I quit using the dolls. There were some people getting weird about the dolls. So and then when I stopped using them, I had some complaints. Some of the complaints were in my email from people who were being a little bit strange about the dolls. So sorry. I know I like the dolls. I used the dolls for so long and it felt really strange to stop and I kind of hated to stop using it, but it was for the best at the time, so sorry. Um, so yeah, so I definitely recommend check out what's going on with shipping. Very good channel. Um, I found him back during the shipping and logistics fiasco of 20 and 21 and into 22 as well. He was super helpful with having facts and talking about the industry and what's going on. And he's being equally just as equally wonderful content now and talking about shipping and how tariffs may or may not affect. He does not espouse any political. He doesn't give any political opinion one way or the other. And he actually said in his video today, he says, "I don't talk about my political stance because it's not. It's basically it's not relevant." And I would agree. He's just there just to give facts and information, and how he feels personally about things doesn't really play into it, and that's true. Now, however, on this channel, I will give you my opinion in a heartbeat. So, but yeah, so but going back to using 20 and 21, what were you short on? What did you find during that time that you thought you were prepared for? You thought going into it, hey, we're pretty well, and then you got into it and went, dang, we need this, that, or the other, or I wish I had more of this or more of that, or would have been good to have this on hand, or this went on longer than I thought. So, something to think about. Definitely use it as a blueprint, as a plan, a guideline, an outline, if you will. Say, hey, you know what? I remember I couldn't find this product, or I wish I had an extra or 4 extra. And if you're able to go ahead and get that, then go ahead and do it. You know, because we know things are going to be more expensive, and we know it's probably good chance that there will be less variety at shelf. Um, so yeah, this is going to be for potentially long haul. We don't know how long, but it's going to be for a little bit. So I think Trump had said that I think the terms he put it, how he put it was, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, was, by Christmas, parents may not be able to buy your child, 30 dolls, but you'll be able to buy two, but those $2 are going to cost more. And I think people freaked out on that a little bit, going, oh my, meaning there's not going to be anything. No, I took it more as like people are saying now, it's not that necessarily that there won't be anything at the shelf. It's just there won't be as many to choose from, possibly. And there's a possibly in there. So, all right, let's see here. Now that I've beat that dead horse there. I feel like it's, I don't have anything new to say that other channels aren't talking about. There are a lot of channel. I actually saw a channel today I thought was kind of interesting. Random things that pop up in my feed, but everyone is, well, not everyone, but a whole lot of people are talking about the tariffs and how best to prepare. And I saw a channel it's run by a senior, a lady, a senior citizen, and she talks about primarily things that affect seniors and how to find good deals and best phone plans, because when you're a senior, or if you're outside the US and the UK, you may call a pensioner, a retiree, right? Someone who's older. You're on a fixed budget, fixed income. So she posts a lot of things on how to, what is this, rerun the program till they get it? Hey, Stuart, how are you? So you may, when you're on that fixed income and you're older, you're looking for things that apply to seniors, like those phone plans, because you may not need to pay for everything on a smartphone, but, she posts just kind of different things that are geared for seniors, and she put out a video, I believe it was yesterday, but it popped up in my feed and was like, "Hey," it was basically, "Hey, seniors, okay, so think about what happened in 20 or in 21, things that you missed out on or you had trouble with last time, and make sure you've got it this time," and just kinda gives basics, and I thought it was really sweet. I'm like, "That's good." I'm so glad to see people using that as kind of, a guideline. It's like, "All right, we've been through something sorta kinda similar before where there was, logistics were affected, shipping was affected, supplies were affected." Yeah, so it feels good to be here, Stuart. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. But, something else to consider also was, of course, medications, your over-the-counter goodies. Everyone always thinks food. Oh my gosh, the food. And I would say definitely food. Don't get too crazy with your paper products. Do what you need to do. Get what you need to get for your household. Don't forget your medications. And when I say that, mostly not your over-the-counter meds necessarily. Although, probably a good time to go through and make sure nothing's expired. If there's anything you need to pick up, like maybe another tube of Bactine or not tube of Bactine. Hello. Need to get another tube of like Neosporin or Polysporin or Bacitracin, another box of Band-Aids. Any supplies that you need for first aid, basic first aid, another bottle of alcohol. Hydrogen peroxide is being suggested also. However, hydrogen peroxide has a really short shelf life. I don't know if you're aware of that. I think it's 6 months roughly. Could go a little bit longer than that, but it's got a really short shelf life. So just keep that in mind with hydrogen peroxide. Not saying don't get it, just be aware. Um, but also something I thought about this evening and that's come up on everyone's radar is India and Pakistan. Oh my goodness, and people are going, "They're gonna go nuclear. They're 2 nuclear powers. They're going to wipe each other out." I don't think that's gonna happen. I certainly hope it doesn't happen. I think we all hope that does not happen. And for many reasons, I'm not thinking yes, they absolutely hate each other. I understand that. I really do. I understand there's there's a lot of animosity there. I get it. I really do. Do I think they're gonna go nuclear? I don't think so. I mean, if things just got like wildly out of hand, even then, I don't know. Currently, at this point, no. Do I think there's going to be some scuffles there? Yeah, there already has been starting today. Oh yeah, yeah, they fist fight all the time. Absolutely, yeah. It was a few years ago where they had a bit of fisticuffs at the border, and somebody wound up being deleted. So that was kind of, yeah, because we still can't say dead on a on here. Someone wound up DED, need. So it's pretty serious. But, a lot of our medications, the majority of our medications we get here in the US come from China and from India. So I have to wonder who would we support in this, who would we support in this little dust up? I got my money on India because that's where all our medications are coming from. A whole lot of them, anyway. Majority of them, or a vast number of them, come from China. Not quite as equally as many, but it's probably, if I had to just pull a number out of the air and guess, I would say maybe like a 60-40 or 70-30 split China, India. We get a lot of medication that comes out of India that's made there. And there's quite a large amount that's made in China as well. And we're not the only country that gets our medications that way, prescription meds. A lot of Europe gets it from China as well. And this is actually something we talked about probably a year or two ago, talking about shortages of medications and things like that. So, yeah, it was. See, you remember all this stuff. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fisticuffs and then a rock. So it wasn't like it was like the border guards there pulled out their guns or knives, although I think some bladed stuff was involved. But yeah, in the end, it was a rock. So pretty brutal. I mean, that's pretty you gotta really not like somebody to do that. That's really something. But anywho, yeah, it's pretty serious stuff. But yeah, something to keep in mind, so I was thinking tonight, I was like, wow, they're gonna dust it up, huh? And our medicines or a lot of our medications come out of India, prescription meds. And so, just things to keep in mind, food for thought, nothing to get excited about and be like, "Oh my gosh," and run out to the store like at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and buy out everything. I'm not saying that. Get the things that you use, the things that you need. Use 2020 and 21 as that kind of guideline for, okay, this is what we ran out of before, or, you know, I couldn't get it. Things is going to be more expensive. Maybe they're a little pricier now. I know I occasionally have people who listen to the channel or who were listening to the channel with dietary restrictions. I started to say food intolerances, but it's more than that. So, food wise, if you have a restricted diet or you have a special diet, or you have someone in your home who has special needs dietary wise, they need certain foods, stock up on it. You know, just saying, not saying that it won't be there, just saying if it is kept in stock in the store, it's going to be more expensive. This just kind of eases you into it, right? So, stay calm, stay calm. Everything's fine here, nothing to see. We're all good. Oh my goodness. What's going on over here in the chat? Let's see. Oh, Klingon princess walking her dog without your glasses. You couldn't see emojis. Oh, gotcha. All part of the transition. Yeah, it is, Stuart. It really is. You know, you gotta wonder where things are gonna go. It's part of me feels like curiouser and curiouser. As I understand it, and please correct me if I am wrong, but my understanding as far as the tariffs, I know people are pretty upset. Some people are pretty upset about it. Why is the administration doing this? Why is he doing this? He being the T man. Why is he doing it? What's going on? Why did he? As if it's something that's just arbitrary. Um, Other countries impose tariffs on us as well. I mean, it's a tax. So my understanding so far has been that we've been paying pretty high tariffs to other countries. So they've been having this tax, if you will, on us for quite some time, and we have not been reciprocating, or we have, but at a much lower rate than what we're tariffed at, than what the tariffs that are imposed on the US are. My understanding, and this is where I say, please correct me if I'm wrong, because honestly, I haven't looked it up. I just trusted someone that I know told me, and I was like, okay, they usually have good information, but anyone can be wrong. My understanding is that we are just now, this is bringing tariffs up to match, to reciprocate what other countries are already charging us. And I thought, well, that sounds fair. Does it kind of suck? Yeah, because now our stuff's going to be more expensive, but it's going to be a little bit bumpy, but we'll get there and it's going to be okay, right? So if anyone has any different information, or if you say, that's not quite right, Lucky, please feel free to speak out either in the chat, or if anyone listens on replay, feel free to put it in the comments. I will actually be checking comments and I will actually leave this up for replay. But that's kind of been my understanding thus far, is that, you know, China's has imposed a tariff on us that's pretty high for a while, and we're just now reciprocating. So I did see, I think New Zealand opted to not reciprocate. So I think we imposed a tariff on goods coming out of New Zealand. I don't think it's particularly high. I think China's is the highest, and everyone's going, holy crap. Like, well, yeah. But I think New Zealand opted not to reciprocate, or at least not at this time. Let's see here. What else is going on in the world? I think that's really the main bits for the last year. The main things that stick out to me anyway going on in the world. I can't exactly remember what. I think last year it was mostly, let's see, the from summer going into the fall, the drama of the presidential, race. That was Oh, that was just a mess. That it was just cringy, and I felt like there was just no doubt in my mind who was going to be winning that race. It was pretty obvious. Um, let's see. But that feels like so long ago now, and I guess it was. I mean, it was really like what, 5, 6, 7 months ago? Hey, Doc, how are you? Oh, good to see you. You have a good night. So we go from the presidential race. It didn't really seem like much of a race. It didn't seem like it was just weird. It was just weird, man. It was odd. It felt very cringy at times. Um, oh gosh, and then somebody taking a shot at the T-man. Someone took a shot at him, and then there was, we haven't heard anything else about that. Isn't that unusual? I think that's strange. I think it's very odd. I mean, you hear like nothing. It's like it happened, and there was an immediate uproar, and then that was it. We don't hear anything else, and there was a whole lot of, conspiracy theory and tinfoil hat and pictures and questions, and, I'm all about it. I love me some tinfoil hat and some theories. It was very "Hey, Indy, how are you?" It was really something, but the fact that we still haven't heard anything, looks like they would release some information or be, more investigation, and instead of, "Yep, we got him," like, but how did he get up there to begin with? And it was in broad daylight, and people saw him and were trying to wave law enforcement down and say, "Hey, that guy's got a GUN and getting on the ROOF to take a shot across over there at that man on the podium," you know? Wondering where I've been. I've been around. I stepped away from Tube just because life, and mostly life. And I've been feeling for the last, week or 2, I th every so often, I have the thought during the day, I'll see something, I think, "Oh, I should go on a live. I should do something," and I'm like, "No, I really don't want to." I work in, a customer service type job, customer support, so I talk to people 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and most days when I'm off work, I don't wanna talk anymore. I am done with talking. And granted, this is different because I don't usually, I've never really had other people up on a panel with me on this channel, very, very occasionally, I think only a couple of times. So, it's not like I'm talking with someone else, but still, it's just the act of talking. After I've talked all day, it's like, I don't wanna hear my own voice anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. Let's be quiet and sit quietly. So, I usually wind up kinda decompressing and watching some good old junky garbage TV, or reading, or just, hanging out quietly with, Mister and the dog, or Velcro dog. So, life definitely does it for sure. Absolutely. So let's see, so we went from someone taking a pot shot at, or well, hardly a pot shot, nicked him, at the, uh, the presidential candidate last year, who is now elected, and didn't hear anything else about it. And let's see, I'm trying to think back what happened after that. Well, we know who won. Mm, we know that lots of people who are, I guess, more left leaning. There's a lot of stuff that seems to be online. I'm not totally surprised. I have to wonder how much is, really represents the majority of the US, or if it's, but we see a lot of things on social media. If you're on social media and you've seen a lot of the stuff, people protesting and all that kind of jazz, I have to wonder. So much of it just seems staged to me, quite frankly. A lot of it just seems so staged. And I mean, we know a lot of it is because back during the summer of love of 2020, there was a lot going on, and we found that we learned that many of these protests, many of the peaceful protests were bankrolled, so that came out. So that's kind of become a known thing. Let's see here. The timing of this live comes on the heels of me looking at both your channels last week. I was wondering if I'd missed you. Sunday afternoon. Oh, thanks. Well, I work on Sundays now. That's my choice. It's my schedule. I picked that. It just works out so that I have Wednesdays and Saturdays usually are my off days. So that kind of works for my life right now. I like having a day off during the week because stores aren't as crowded, although a lot of people work from home now, so it's more crowded than it used to be. There's more people out during the day, and I find myself sometimes driving along and telling my husband, who's in the car with me, and going, "Why are all these people doing out? They need to go to work." And then I think, "Well, I'm off work, so they, you know, and I work from home, so." Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that, but, life just happens and just stuff. Um, I I debated sharing any personal stuff. And I know people have asked in the past, how my health was and what's going on, and so I guess I'll share a little bit. So last summer, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Um, it was officially diagnosed in not April, excuse me, in August. But I knew about it in June, actually, late June, early July. So about the time I did that last live was kind of about the time I figured out what was going on. Um, but before anyone goes, "Oh my god," it's fine. It's fine. It's not one of the quote unquote bad autoimmune diseases. If it's not anything. I guess I would say it's not anything serious. I was diagnosed with alopecia areata, which, if you recognize the word alopecia, that word means hair loss. So basically, in a nutshell, my body is attacking the hair on my head and yeeting it off. So I'm actually losing hair. And that's it. That is the entirety of the autoimmune disease. It's my body is attacking my hair. And I'm like, really? Are you effing kidding me? So I guess if I had to pick one, if God came down from heaven and said, "Hey, Lucky, I'm going to give you an autoimmune disease, but I'll let you select which one," I guess that's the one I'd pick. Um, the only thing with autoimmune diseases is even with something kind of, I guess, benign is this, something it's not like, it's not lupus, it's not MS, it's nothing like that. It's not Hodgkin's, um, or excuse me, not Hodgkin's, it's not Hashimoto's, it's not anything like that. The thing with autoimmune disease, though, is once you develop one, you are much more likely to develop another. So there is always the possibility that at some point in my life, I might develop another one. They all like to play together, and nobody knows why. But so I am checked periodically with lots of labs and all like that. And so far, so good. So far, it's just my hair that's going boop. So um, so I've become a hat aficionado. I'm not bald. So before anyone even asks, I'm not bald. Don't worry about it. If you want to look it up, you're welcome to. I don't want to do a big whole thing on it, but alopecia areata, it's basically your hair falls out in bald patches, and it can be anywhere from like teeny tiny little patch to like take up half of your head. It can be enormous, and it just varies depending on the person, and nobody knew. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It may flare up once in your life and then never again, or it could flare up multiple times throughout your life or be a constant, or, there's just nobody knows why or when or how, or there's no there's no treatment to make it stop. So I mean, there's like treatments you can get to try to encourage the inflammation to subside, but it's 50-50 if they work. Not everyone responds to it. I opted not to do it because it involves injecting steroids in your head, in your scalp. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good with just losing my hair. So I'm good. It rubs exactly, just rub some dirt on it. Well, I didn't feel that way initially. It was scary at first because I was like, "Why is all of this hair coming out? Oh my god." At first, I wasn't sure. It was progressing pretty quickly, and it was scary. Um, but yeah, now I'm still losing, but not at quite the same rate I initially was, and it just kind of falls. I have patches that fall out, so I have bald spots, and some of them grow back, some of them haven't, so I just deal with it. It's life. I wear hats. I like hats. Um, Winter was interesting because I didn't realize how damn cold I would get without all of my hair. So it's like, oh my god, oh my god, I was cold. So I definitely got in on the hats for winter, and it was a pretty darn mild winter for Texas. I mean, like really mild. So I think if I lived in a colder climate, if I lived somewhere up north, my poor little head would have been a popsicle. But yeah, it's good though. Oh yeah, thanks, Cindy. Yeah, I did not handle it well at first. It's super emotional, and you don't realize it until it actually happens to you. I had initially, it's just don't I'll just say this. If someone's going through that or anything where they're losing their hair, don't tell them it's just hair. It'll be okay. Don't do that. That because you may think it's encouraging, it comes across and reads as really insensitive. And I had people tell me that it's just hair. It's don't I'm like, no, it's my hair. You can say that because it's not yours, but it's mine. And I don't know what's happening. All I know is it's scary and I'm watching it like I'm sitting still and it's like falling on my shoulders and I'm like, "Holy shit, what's going on?" So, but anywho, yeah, like seriously, I'll just, rub some dirt on it and it's good. It's good. It took me a little while to wrap my head around it, ironically. But no, so yeah, but otherwise, yeah, my health is otherwise good. It doesn't affect me in any other way. Sometimes if it's like kind of a big flare and I'm having a lot of hair falling out, I'll feel kind of tired, but yeah. So I was like, well, if that's the worst thing that's going to happen to me, then okay, all right. I got some pretty cool hats though. I've got a fedora, got my little Indiana Jones moment with a fedora, right? Got my brown fedora. I've got a bowler that I really like. And somebody's probably sitting there going, those are men's hats. Yeah, and I like them. Men have some cool hats. The women's hats that I like wouldn't really cover what I need covered. So they're dainty and cute, but I need something a little bit more, with a little bit more coverage. And I tell myself I can pull it off and what? Save it all and knit one of them old hair pick. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh, let's see. So yeah, I've got some hats and just go for wearing that. Why not? But otherwise, life is just lifing. Work, watch a little junky TV, do some crosswords, do a little Sudoku, listen to some other creators' lives, enjoy that. Read the chat, see what people are doing. The chats are still chatting. People are still peopling in some of these chats and some of these lives. Things are always the same over at Jason's on Angry Truth and Angry Prepper. Thanks, Stuart. So, does anybody have any concerns about tariffs? I mean, what are your thoughts on it? I'm curious. Like, is anyone around here thinking, oh my gosh, India and Pakistan are going to do you think they will go nuclear? Do you think they are going to lob some glass glass making or ground burning things at each other and try and level each other out? Or do you think they'll throw any kind of bombs or anything at each other? You think it'll just be trading some gunfire? Do you think it's going to escalate? Do we think it's gonna potentially affect medications coming out of India? That's where I'm looking at. And it's like, I don't think anyone's really thought of that yet, possibly. Stuart. Prices are up on the import side already. Daily changes. See who lasts longer. Yeah. Yeah, I was seeing that too, that prices are already going up some. And I think that's potentially what people, I hope that's what people are meaning when they're like, oh no, you have to get stuff, buy everything before the 15th. I'm like, well, why the 15th? Why is that a magical number? I mean, unless that's just kind of a date where they're picking as a potentially, as things are coming in from ports and shipping to stores. I mean, you would think this isn't how it's going to go, but you would think with the retailers or some of the major retailers saying that the big box stores, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, et cetera, saying that they have made larger orders. I believe it was in April, March or April. It's probably before March and April, really. Probably once they had a clue that there was going to be, or a hint that there would be tariffs imposed on China and other countries, they made larger orders of products to have stock, in case of panic buying, which is going to happen, you know. Um, you would think that they would not be raising those prices because those goods were bought before tariffs went into place. However, they're probably already raising the prices, I'm sure. Let's see. He was on fire last night. I actually did not watch him last night, but yeah, he's always on fire. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He was kind enough to have me on his live a couple years ago, and he seems like a really nice, very genuine person. The little bit I got to talk with him backstage, nice guy. Klingon Princess, a friend bought 4 bottles of Grand Marnier to avoid a price hike. Probably last him the rest of his life. Well, I hope so. 4 bottles is a lot. I guess it depends on how often you're mixing it up, right? 4 bottles of Grand Marnier, yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think alcohol, but see, I don't drink anymore anyway, so that didn't even come onto my radar. Yeah, we import a lot of alcohol from outside the US. Although there's quite a large number of wineries and distilleries in the US also. So, yeah, I mean, the fact is just it seems like everything's going to go up. How much and for how long and what it's going to look like is the great unknown, other than pretty much the administration. I did see something or people saying, stock up, get the things that you need, just in case there's limitations or things gone from the shelf, or in case things that you need are no longer able to be obtained. It's part of that limited selection, and maybe the thing that you used to get is no longer available. Then you'll have a little bit in your own personal stock until you can find a substitute, right? Let's see here. I keep checking the news periodically today since I saw India attacked Pakistan. I'm waiting to see if Pakistan has returned the favor. Oh, yes. Okay, so Pakistan claims that they have shot 5 Indian jets down. Wow. Yeehaw. Well, I did see something earlier this evening where someone was sharing footage. I take it all with a grain of salt because there is so much doctored footage out there for anything. It's crazy. It's hard to tell what's real. But I saw something earlier. Someone was sharing footage of Pakistani fighter jets taking off, and the little caption was they were taking off to go attack, to go launch attacks on India. And I was like, are they though? Is this? I mean, it was kind of dark, it's at night, you couldn't tell. It's like, "Is it though? I can't tell if that's Pakistani. I don't know that." You know? Like saying, "Why would you be filming that? That doesn't make sense." But looks like it was true. So here we go. All right, guys. Well, I'm actually going to wrap it up. I know it's less than an hour. What happened to the days where I would talk to it for an hour and a half? It's because I haven't really been keeping up with a whole lot of stuff, and it is 11:42 p.m. here in Texas, in Central Time, the only time zone that matters. And I'm making a list and checking it twice for the things that we are going to be picking up tomorrow. The couple little extras that we'll be getting. Make sure we have here. Oh, I know what I can tell you guys about. If you just want some general entertainment, I can tell you about our drama with our neighbors. Who doesn't like neighbor drama? I don't. I can tell you that right now. I don't like neighbor drama. I don't want any drama, but they are the drama. So we have some neighbors uh, that live on one side of our property, and they are really something else. They moved in, I think, last year. And yeah, it was last year because I remember summertime they were out there. So they moved in last year. I may have talked about them a little bit last year, actually. And they are, wow, their kids are buck wild, buck wild, but it's because they allow them to be. Now, I'm not here to, well, yeah, I was about to say I'm not here to judge anyone's parenting skills, but yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to. Um, the kids are young. There's, uh, and I think the husband goes to work. He has his work truck and he goes to work daily. You know, she's stay at home mom. Cool. The kids are of various ages. They're pretty young. The oldest one is grade school and it's a girl and she, mom takes her to school every day, drops her off, comes home. And the two younger kids, one of them is, I would guess, to be old enough, definitely old enough to be in school, but is not. I don't know if there's a homeschool thing going on there because it's not my business, but I'd say he's probably about six, maybe seven, maybe. I'd probably say more like six, 5 or 6. I'm guessing about 6 years old ish. And then there's a little one, and she occasionally, there's other kids over there if they have their friends over, or I think she helps out her friends by keeping their kids and things like that. So, but where the kids come into being wild is they're just left unsupervised, and mom seems to think it's okay to let the kids out into their backyard. It's a fenced backyard, Um, they will be I hate to I don't know, I'm trying to think for a second, do I wanna blast this on the internet? Yeah. She lets them out there to run bare ass naked. Y'all, don't let your kids out there do that. Do you know how many predators there are in the world? Even in your own neighborhood, you have no idea. Don't do that. Put some clothes on your kids. Don't let them run buck naked in your I mean, unless you're, like, out in the county, nobody can see you, then that's your business. But when you're not out in the county, meaning out in the countryside where no one can see you, when you're in a neighborhood and everyone can see you, and it's Texas and it's flat here and there's no trees, so it's not like, you're hidden by shrubbery. Don't do that. And your neighbor's windows face your yard on, you know, 4 sides, 5 sides. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, the kids like to do things like climb the fence that separates our properties, likes to climb the fence into our backyard, chase our chickens. They've turned their hose onto our chickens to try and, like, I guess, blast them with a hose. It's just all kinds of crap. They climb on the fence, and there's a tree that's right there by it. They get up in there, and it's like they are just enthralled with our yard. And I'm like, if you don't get your little asses out of here, I'm gonna snatch you and your mom up and spank you. That's right. I said it. I said it's right, it is a shrubbery. I know you got it. Shrubbery. Oh my goodness. Pink well, and okay, so that is something they do, however, it's not in the bushes, it's in the middle of the yard. There's no cover, there's nothing there's no shrubs, there's no bushes. I'm serious, there's not a stitch, not a thing out there. I look out my kitchen window and all I see is, you know, little naked children asses, and I'm like, "Hello, full moon. What the hell? That's not what I wanna see at 8, 9 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I also don't wanna see it at 3 in the afternoon." But there they are. So anyway, so we've had, and I'm sure people are no, I'm glad you're amused. But the thing is, my point is they're definitely old enough to know to be dressed. Um, Parents know put clothes on your kids. So it's not just that. There's other things, along with the climbing into our yard and trying to mess with our animals and throwing stuff at us. And I had one of the kids flinging branches at me and limbs and stuff. It's like a damn little ninja over there. I was like, I had to bob and weave. I'm like, hey, kid, you know. My most recent thing that happened that was two of the kids were over there, and as siblings will do, they were fussing and fighting with each other and climbing on the fence and hanging onto the fence and screaming bloody murder to where Mister actually went outside because they were screaming so bad he thought something happened because they weren't stopping. So he goes out and just sees they're just fighting and climbing on the fence. And so he calls over, "Hey, get off the fence, quit screaming, quit hollering, knock it off." Well, then here comes mom. Mom is very well aware of what's going on. Here, let me just share all my neighbor drama with you guys because this is leading up to something. That's what sticks are for. Well, no, he threw the sticks at me. About He was like a damn little ninja with those sticks. He about got me in the head. I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, mom needs a switching. I tell you what. So anywho, so yeah, mom comes outside and hustles all the kids inside, and I haven't seen her since, and that's been a few weeks ago. So, haven't hardly seen the kids outside since either. Very occasionally, so I don't know what's going on. They're weird. The kind of feel that we've gotten in the past, we rarely say anything, because kids are going to be noisy and play. We know that. That's cool. It's fine. It's when they're crossing over and bringing it onto our property and trying to do stuff to the dog or to the chickens, like that's not going to fly. You know. Um, so anyway, Mister says, "Hey, hey, quit climbing on that fence, quit screaming, yeah, calm down, knock it off." Mom is nearby and very well aware of what's happening, so she immediately runs out there, gets everyone, takes them inside. Mom has also made a comment to me in the past that she has watched, and she's like, "Oh, I saw your husband." I'm like, "Why are you watching my husband outside? What?" So I have some feelings about her keeping tabs on our home and my husband, but so the next day I'm outside after he tells the kids, "Hey, hey, knock it off. What are you screaming about? Quick, get off that fence. Quit fighting." Next day I'm outside taking care of the chickens and I'm walking back in and their daughter's out there, the one that goes to school. She's older. She's maybe 10. And she calls over the fence at me, "Are you the one that yelled at my brothers?" And I thought, "That's none of your business, you little sassy child." And I thought, I'm not going to be rude to the kids. I'll be rude to the parents, but I won't be rude to kids because they're kids. And I said, "No, that was my husband." She's like, "Well, so were you the one that told them to quit, to get off your fence?" I'm like, "That's not what was said." And I'm thinking, and I was like, "You don't need to worry about that, you know, which I felt like was the only appropriate response for a child. You don't need to worry about that. And she's looking at me and they know us. Well, not like know us like we're friends, but they know they've seen us around. They've lived here for a year. They know he's my husband, I'm his wife. I have my hair, pulled up, and you can see areas where I have no hair, but I had it pulled up because I was working outside, and this little asshole then says, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I'm like, "You know very well." So I may have told her to shut up and go inside, and she did. So I'm just saying, parents teach your children some manners. So this recently, not too long after that, there was these people are nuts, you guys. So anyway, so all of that bringing up to it's like we're getting tired of them doing stuff and throwing stuff in our yard and just being a hassle. And Mr. just happens to like look out the window occasionally throughout the day and sees them doing stuff and like trying to hose down the chickens and throw stuff at the dog. Just crap. So I kind of talked a little bit about maybe we should put a game camera out there, get some pictures just to kind of back up stuff if we need to go to their property management company and say, hey, your tenants are causing an issue here. Well, in the meantime, someone tried to break into their home in broad daylight. Only theirs. There was no other burglary attempts in the area. I thought it was a little suspicious. Why would someone go up in broad daylight it was on a Saturday morning and try to break in the front window? It was very strange. It was sus, as the children say. It was very sus. I think it was probably someone that knew them or had met them, or maybe the husband who likes to have a few adult tasty beverages. Maybe he ran his mouth about something, or maybe he owes somebody money. I don't know. But someone tried to break into their home in broad daylight on a Saturday morning at sometime it was like around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, holy cow, what the heck? And we knew because we were going out to run some errands and saw the sheriff's cars over there. And they said, hey, did you see anything? So, of course, I went to the fence to try and get information to find out what's going on. Didn't get a whole lot of information. So, I'm trying to figure out if maybe if that sheriff's report is public information, if maybe I can get a copy of it because I want to know what the heck happened. And I don't want to go over there and ask the neighbors what's going on because I really don't want to have that much contact with them, quite frankly. So it's a mystery with bonus annoying. Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's a mystery with bonus annoying children. I don't know if that's a bonus. Seems more like a gag gift, really. So, anywho, so we're looking at security cameras. We've talked about it in the past. I think I've probably mentioned it here a few times in the past. We've thought about putting cameras out or having some more cameras, and we've had game cameras, but not specifically security cameras. So we've got those. And I said, well, maybe we need actual security cameras posted somewhere. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Stuart. Drugs are bad, okay? Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, the guy like made a show of, I guess they have a Ring doorbell. So they actually got the guy on camera, and the sheriffs went over to they were going over to some of the neighbors and in the area around about and saying, "Hey, do you happen to have cameras pointed and would they be pointed in this general direction? Did you maybe catch the person on your camera?" And one of the neighbors did. But yeah, the guy next door showed me a picture and he's like, "Oh, okay." I feel like he was making a bit of a show of it, quite frankly. It was a little strange. The sheriffs were just kind of watching him quietly, and I thought, you're not buying this either, are you?" But he says, "Oh, can I show you a picture of the guy and tell me if you know him?" I was like, "Sure." So I saw a picture of the guy, and of course I don't recognize him, but he didn't look like he just looked like an average person. So I don't know. But yeah, drugs are bad, okay? So I don't know what's going on over there, but I like it to stay on that side. So I think we need some cameras. So if anyone in chat or on replay happens to have a suggestion for security cameras, please feel free to share. We're looking at a couple of different ones. I know everyone says get wired, it's better, it's more secure. Yes, but wireless is much more convenient. And we could always just get one that's non-working and stick it up there just for deterring, just to deter people. But yeah, that's been life for the last year is, let's see, autoimmune disease makes my hair fall out, uh, working, weirdo frickin' neighbors with naked children. One one of the kids when after they'd moved in, they were, the younger ones who were just, like, bare naked running through the yard, playing in the backyard, having a grand time, oblivious to anything. I mean, they're having a great time. They see Mister walking across in the backyard, coming back into the house after he's done some, took some water or something to the chickens, and they say, he says the kids were like, "Hey!" They run to the fence to wave and say hello and wanna talk to the, adults, "Talk to us." And I said, "Did you talk to him?" He says, "Hell no." I said, "What'd you do?" He said he looked straight at the ground, he didn't look at him, he didn't speak to them, he didn't wave, he came straight inside. I said, "You didn't tell them to go put some clothes on or something and quit talking?" He says, "No." He says, "Talking to naked children is how you get to go to jail." I said, "That's a good point. That's an excellent point. A grown man talking to naked kids is how you go to jail. So, parents, put clothes on your kids, please, and make sure they stay on. If you need to make sure they stay on by using bungee cords and duct tape, then so be it. Make sure them kids stay clothed, will you? Ain't nobody want to see that. Nobody thinks it's as cute as you do. Trust me. Trust me." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wondered how that works, Chris. I don't know if I need a Freedom of Information request or, I don't know. And if you make that request, do they have to, like, notify the person? Like, would they notify the neighbor, "Hey, someone requested a copy of your police report." I mean, not that I'm trying to do anything sneaky, but I guess it does sound sneaky if I just don't want them they don't need to know that I want a copy of it. I wanna know what happened, and I don't trust whatever they would tell me. So, yeah, because I have no idea if they were home. I was like, "Were you home? Are you okay?" And I didn't get an answer to that. So I'm like, "Okay, that seems strange." Seems real strange. Who do you owe money to? Who was coming to collect that money? You know? Why did they just suddenly leave? Why did they break in the window but didn't come in the house? So it's weird. Call the sheriff and tell him you vote, right? Trade you a vote for that copy of that report, sir. I don't think they can do that. That's probably illegal in some way, I'm sure. That's probably not the way to do things. Or it may be the way to do things. I mean, I'm in a small area, so sheriff may be down for that. I don't know. Don't know. But yeah. So that's really been pretty much our last year in a nutshell, you know? Nothing new is in the preparedness front so much. I am still unable to eat mammal products. That was something if anyone's been around and you remember me talking about that, still not able. Oh, we did get sick with the cootie. We had a COVID at the end of February, the respiratory one. I thought it was just allergies for a while, and it was just, like, lingering and hanging on, and I needed to take a couple of days off work, and in order to do that so that it wouldn't count against me, um, I had to have because it wasn't, like, scheduled in advance, I had to have a doctor's note, so I went to urgent care to get a doctor's note, and they're like, "Oh, let's test," and they come back in standing on the far side of the room, "You tested positive." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Like, well, I was 10 days in at that point. I'm like, "Well, I mean, okay, whatever." I was like, "I thought it was just cedar fever, but alright." So, although I did figure it was COVID because I was about 10 days into it, about 9 it was like 9 or 10 days, um, and all of a sudden, I couldn't smell a thing in the world. I mean, absolutely nothing, and I thought, "Oh, shit. It's that it's the coof, isn't it? It's the cootie. Oh, well." And it took about another, week and a half before I got my sense of smell back, but yeah. Mister didn't lose any of it, he was fine the whole time. I mean, he got sick too, but not like I did. I was a little bit worse off than he was, but Yeah. So yeah, still not able to eat mammal products. So that falls into as far as prepping dietary wise. Oh, something I do want to tell you guys, if anyone likes freeze-dried food and if you're partial to Mountain House, they're having a sale right now. And some of their products are up to 50% off and there's free shipping. And there's no dollar amount on that, like a minimum dollar amount on that free shipping because checked to see if I checked to see if there was, and I added like one pouch of some random freeze-dried food to my cart and made like I was going to check out to see what the shipping would be. It's still free shipping, and that was for an $11.24 freeze-dried pouch. So if you are partial to that, if you like freeze-dried, and Mountain House has been so expensive, you might want to look over there and see if there's anything that catches your fancy that you want to get and take advantage of that sale, because I haven't seen a sale like that in a really long time. Like their diced chicken is half off, and they had some other things. I think some of their stroganoff or lasagna was like it was like 20 or $30 a can instead of 70 or whatever the heck it is now. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Anyone can request the CAD from any police call, incident, case, complaint. Doesn't have to even be booked for free. It's public info. It's the actual. Yeah, yeah. I know it can be requested, and it's you just have to request it. And I know how that works over with the PD. I'm not sure how it works with the sheriff, but I've already been perusing the sheriff's website to see how to do that. And I didn't see it offhand, so I thought I'm just going to shoot an email over to him and say, hey, if I want to get a copy of a police report or sheriff's report for an attempted B&E, or for a B&E, what do I do? How do I get that? How can I get a copy, por favor? Thank you. So yeah, I'm more curious if it happened while they were home because yeah, and if there's well, I just want to know what's going on because I guess I'm just being a nosy neighbor, but I'd like to know what's up. Especially since they're, like, next door to us. I'm like, "What?" Like, "Keep your drama over on that side of the fence, please." So, but, yeah, so on the preparedness side of things, Mountain House, if you're interested. I saw Augustin Farms also, same thing if you're interested in dehydrated and freeze-dried foods. I did see Augustin Farms is also they were having a sale. Their prices were not as good as Mountain House, though. Um, so something just to kind of keep in mind. I have no idea if Augustin Farms had free shipping or not, but keep in mind with them also, they do a lot of dehydrated foods. So if you're looking for freeze dry specifically, make sure it says that on the can before you buy it. I know some people have bought from them and they accidentally got dehydrated and they thought they were buying freeze dry. So just watch for that. Um, but yeah, we took advantage of the Mountain House and grabbed a couple of cans of the chicken, diced chicken, because I eat lots of chicken and it's feels better to have a little bit, a little bit of that on hand just in case we had to dip into a long-term prep or, if anything happened and we needed it, then we know that I at least will definitely have something there on hand that I can eat. We don't have to worry about. So, hey, Virginia, I'm just about to get out of here. I think I said about, let's see, I said 25 minutes ago. I was like, well, I'm going to wrap it up. And then I pulled a typical me and wound up talking about stuff. So, but I am going to go ahead and wrap it up because it is after midnight now and I do have to get up in the morning to get out and do some errands. So I'm going to bid you all adieu. I hope you have a great evening. And I can't say that I'll be back with any regularity or if I'll be back maybe next year. I don't know. Like I said, it was just one of those things where I thought, maybe I'll hop on. No, I don't know. It's like, let's just do it. And here I am. So Hopefully, if I do it again, I will try and be on here a little bit earlier because I'm sure there'll be people in the morning to go, "What?" Because, most people are probably asleep right now, East Coast for sure, if you've got your job in the morning. Central, probably as well. I'm only up because I'm off tomorrow. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay calm. Don't get crazy out of control. Just, like I said, and like a lot of other people are saying, use 2020 and 21 shipping and logistics and supply chain garbage as kind of your outline or kind of a blueprint, a plan to guide you in what you think you might need this time around. You know, it falls back to if you know something's going to happen ahead of time and you can prepare for it, what are you going to get? Well, this is it. We know this is going to happen. Something's going to happen. So what do you need to do? What do you need to get extra? There you go. I mean, that's pretty I think it's pretty good deal, right? You know it's coming. It's better than holy crap, everything's shut down. You can't get anything. Just go get some extras, get what you need. Check for any expired medications, over the counter meds. If you do take prescription meds, if you're able to get extras like a 3-month supply or a 4-month supply, even 3-month is pretty standard. Ask your doctor or ask the pharmacist, hey, can I get a few months worth if that's something you're able to go ahead and swing as far as copay or anything like that to go ahead and get those extras just for, if nothing else, for your peace of mind, right? So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, guys, I hope, hey, Huckleberry, how are you? You're up because the stupid frogs work harder, dang it. Yeah. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great evening and a great rest of the week, and I will see you at some point in the future. Good night.